Hello, and welcome to the Women's Rugby Show. I'm Sam, by the way, and today I'm brought with a brand new content series, and that is discussions with a Cuppa. I won't reveal what we're talking about today, although you may have probably guessed it if you've been watching the news this week. But in this series, I'll be discussing all the hottest news stories, all the hottest topics across the women's game, how they affect the game, and also my opinion on them as well. Before we get into that, if you are new, welcome to the channel, but please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Women's Rugby Show, and check us out across all social medias. If you're not new, welcome back, but you know the score by now. Make sure you like this video and check us out on social media as well. And also, keep an eye on social media this weekend for a special Instagram takeover, as we won't be able to get to a game this weekend, so there won't be any main channel videos, but we will still be bringing you all the hottest content from the women's game. Have you done all that? Well, grab yourself a cup of tea, just like mine, and we'll get into the video and discussing today's topic. As you may have guessed, this week's video is about World Rugby's announcement this week and everything that's in it. And the main points of this announcement are: there's going to be a 16-team, 3-tier W15's global competition set to begin in 2023. We'll take a deeper dive into that in a minute. World Rugby are going to invest $6.4 million in the first 2 years. It's going to be a unified 15s calendar comprised of 2 playing windows on an annual basis, which aims to optimise player welfare and performance. A groundbreaking global international 15s calendar set to accelerate development of the women's game ahead of the expanded World Cup in 2025. The calendar will reflect World Rugby's long-term commitment in establishing a highly competitive and global test calendar to elevate standards of women's rugby across the world. W15s will be supported by the new Women in Rugby commercial programme, and that is one of the biggest things in this announcement for me. And W15s offers host diversified revenue generating opportunities, which is also highly important to growing the game. The key and main announcement, though, is both the introduction of the global calendar and the new competition. So now we've got those facts right, let's take a deeper dive into that new Women's 15s competition and how that's going to affect the game, and actually just how it's going to be run. So, WXV is going to be a 3-tier, 16-team tournament. We've got that right. And the first league is WXV1, and 6 teams across a cross-pool format in a standalone tournament in one set place. The participating teams will include the top 3 teams from the Six Nations and the top 3 teams from a cross-regional tournament featuring USA, Canada, New Zealand and Australia. The most important thing to note in this, though, is that there'll be no promotion or relegation in the first cycle of WXV1. The WXV2 comp is going to be run exactly like it's higher up, and will consist of 6 teams played in a cross-pool format, exactly like WXV1. But the participating teams are different, obviously. The teams for 2023 will include 2 teams from Europe, as well as a 4th place team from the cross-regional tournament previously mentioned, featuring USA, Canada, New Zealand and Australia, as well as 1 team from Oceania, 1 team from Asia and 1 team from Africa. The 6th place team, WXV2, however, will be relegated, and they'll be relegated to WXV3, which is a competition below it. WXV3 is going to be run slightly different. It'll be hosted in one venue as a round-robin format, and it'll consist of just 4 teams, with the winner and rankings determined by a point system. Participating teams will include 2 from the EU, 2 from Europe, 1 team from Asia, and the winner of an Africa versus South America playoff. The top-ranked team in WXV3 competition will be promoted to WXV2, but the bottom team, the team that finishes 4th, will take place in a playoff against the highest-ranked team in the World Rugby rankings, not yet in the competition. And that's what will be one of the key things to know when this tournament gets going. So, now we know the actual facts about this announcement, the facts about the competition, I'm going to take a deeper dive into how this may affect the game, and actually my opinions on it as well. World Rugby themselves even mentioned in the statement how key this global calendar and how key this competition is going to be to the growth of the women's game. I actually think that as well. Having a global calendar will allow the revenue and allow the broadcasting rights to be so much easier to get, so much easier to distribute, and that means the growth of the game will be higher pretty much straight away, as more people will be able to watch it, more people will be able to watch such high quality, high standard test level rugby on a wider scale, and that's what's key to growing the game. And that's what we see here in England with the Premier 15s. With the lack of a broadcast deal, it's a struggle to be able to people to watch the game, watch it to a high standard. As you see with BT having the Premiership Rugby, there's so many angles, there's interviews, there's everything. But with our Premier 15 streams, it's a struggle because you get one angle and you maybe get an interview after a game, an interview before the game, and really that's not good enough. So hopefully this new global calendar will allow the broadcast rights to just take that step up. It will allow everything just to step up the next level. And also the competition just sounds really exciting. Just to see every year, to see that England take on New Zealand every year, to see Canada take on France, and it's going to be really exciting. And then that's just at the top level. Then if we take a step down, we'll be seeing Spain take on teams from Africa and Asia, probably. We'll see Scotland playing out there as well. And even then, with the promotion and relegation from XV3 down into the rankings, it allows teams to grow their game, to get into those leagues, and to just try and push higher up. And who knows where that may take them in the coming year. So I think it's just a really important announcement in the women's game. It's been a tough time in the last few weeks with the postponement of the Rugby World Cup. I think we haven't mentioned that on the channel yet, but I think that's going to be a difficult period for women's rugby. I think it was tough for that it's been postponed, with everything being moved around for the men's game. I think it's really disappointing that people won't do that for the women's game, but it's been postponed. Hopefully it means a crowd will be there. Hopefully it means the women's rugby show might even be there next year. So who knows? But I think this announcement it's been a good news week for women's rugby. There's not been any negativity in the press. It's been a great news week to see this being announced. Everyone's really excited about the global calendar, about WXV as well. And I think with the Women's Six Nations coming up, it's a great time to be involved in the women's game. And let's hope, even though it's not been announced, obviously, that's a story for next week with the fixtures and timings and venues not being announced. But let's cut out the negativity. It's been a great news week for women's rugby. WXV sounds really exciting. The increased money put into the game by World Rugby is a step up. That's not been done for a while. I think it's going to be important that they're actually doing that now. They're actually realising that women's rugby is an investment. It's something that needs to be invested into for it in order for it to grow. And I think one of the points they made about the global calendar being able to help each country grow revenue, that's important as well. Because obviously you see England, they're one of the richest countries in the World Rugby, and that means they're allowed to grow their players. There's such better standard when you look at Ireland, who don't have that facilities, don't have the capabilities of that. So with this global calendar, it will allow Ireland to compete with England, and it will make the Six Nations more competitive. That means it'll make WXV more competitive. That means it'll make the Rugby World Cup more competitive. And who knows, we may see a new winner on the World Cup trophy. Maybe not in 2022 now it'll be, but in 2025 with that expanded calendar. So that's it. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching me. I hope you enjoyed this new series, and hope you enjoyed your cup of tea as well if you had one. And make sure you let us know in the comments what you thought about the video, what you thought about World Rugby's announcement, and how you think WXV 1, 2 and 3 is going to affect the women's game. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.